Hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee and Careers. My name is Sam Zeitner. I'm the Assistant Director of Career Advising in the Academic and Career Development Center. This morning, I am joined by Taylor Timberlake, one of our career peer advisors in ACDC. Good morning, Taylor.
Good morning. How are you?
I am doing all right. Coffee's definitely helping this early morning.
Yep, that's what I need. Um, so like Sam said, my name's Taylor Timberlake. I am pretty much a senior at this point. I'm graduating in December. I changed a lot of things, so that's why it's a little confusing for me, but I'm graduating in December. I'm going to get a Bachelor of Science in Sociology with a minor in Black Studies. And hopefully soon after I graduate, I'll be getting a master's degree in anthropology. Um, so I just want to come out here and talk a little bit about something that I think is really important, but I'll let Sam kind of get into that first.
Yeah, before we dive in, what do you happen to be drinking this morning?
Okay, let me grab it real quick. It's just right over there.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is French press vanilla coffee, or no, it's creme brulee, like Dunkin' Donuts, something like that.
Nice.
My roommate makes it. It's really good. I put in vanilla almond milk creamer because
Oh,
I'm vegetarian and I'm trying to, go vegan. So I'm
yeah.
trying to have less dairy and stuff. But that's usually what I add in, and a lot of sugar because I don't like it tasting like coffee, quite frankly. But
Fair.
it does the job. My preferred is matcha,
Hmm.
but we do what we can.
Exactly. No, I get you. Well, I've just got some World Market Texas turtle roast in my Arctic mug here this
Ooh.
morning. That's a good one. And I agree on the tea front. I'm more of a chai tea, but we are out of powder
Mhm.
this morning, so coffee it is. Well, okay, our topic this morning, though, is getting to know and having conversations with your instructors. And
Mhm.
this is a topic that's pretty close to you. And I know that's kind of why we decided to go with this one this morning. And so tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, so obviously, I started college the fall of 2018. Yes. Oh, geez. 2018. And I was not prepared. I was prepared for the academic side, but I wasn't prepared for the social aspect. Moving to the dorms, meeting all these new people. And so everything was a lot. And I struggled to get focus and things like that. And so I had to talk to my professors because I was like, hey, I'm struggling to get things done and do all that. And I did it on a whim. I was like, you know what? Maybe they'll understand. Maybe they'll like be empathetic. And so I reached out and it completely changed my college career. And so after that, I realized how to communicate with professors, how to help, or how to help them help you. And it has by far been the most helpful advice I could give anyone who's entering college or who's in college but maybe is shy about it. Professors have thousands of students that they have to help teach, obviously. And so if you don't ask for help, they're not going to find you, right? They can't do that. That's not something we can expect. Excuse me. And so it's so important to take that first step. But that first step leads to so many benefits, including better grades, potential, what are they called? References, potential
Yeah.
references, people who can write letters on your behalf for scholarships, for grad school. And I don't want to say, friends, but like you could just make connections. You can network that way. Um, for example, I am a Black Studies minor, and there's my cat climbing on the curtains.
The animals have joined us today. That's okay.
Okay, well, you know what? He got down. It's fine.
It's fine.
But
Yeah.
my Black Studies professor, Jennifer Harbor, I love her to death. She's amazing. And I remember talking to her after class one day, and I was like, I want to work with the UN. Like, I want to do some foreign relations stuff. And she sent me all this information and when she did, and all of this stuff that I wouldn't have had access to had I not talked to her about it. and she's been my reference numerous times. She will probably be my reference when I start looking for a job again. But like I would have had none of that if I had just went to class, did my homework, and did nothing else. And so that's the core of why I think it's important.
Well, and those connections just in general, like you said, are so huge. And I mean, granted, I've been out of school for a while, but I remember kind of that fear and that anxiousness that comes with going to office hours, because you don't want to seem like you're bothering that instructor and those types of things, but you're not. I mean, that's literally what office hours are there for, is I've got questions, or you've got questions, they've got the answers. And you're right, just going in and having those conversations, you may find something to bond over, and then you build up that connection more and more. I mean, the possibilities are endless when it comes to connecting with your instructors on that level.
Yeah, as so my goal is anthropology in the end, like I said. And so I have tried to work pretty closely with our anthropology department,
Hmm.
and I've made pretty decent connections within that. Um, and that just allows me to have more access to potential internships that are based around anthropology or do research with those professors. All of that stuff I wouldn't have known had I not taken that step. And so there's just so many opportunities. I can't stress like how often my teachers are like, "Oh yeah, I thought about you and like I think this would be really good for you." Even in high school, which was something that was really common for me. Um, in high school, and I think that's why it was easier for me to reach out as a college student because I got close with my teachers younger, and so it didn't seem too hard. But I know that there's so much social anxiety trying to reach out to someone that you think is maybe smarter than you, that you think is like out of not out of your league. You're not dating them. But like you think that they're on a different tier. You know, they're professional, they've been doing this forever. But honestly, they're just people, like plain and simple, and they're here to help. They wouldn't be a professor if they didn't want to make a difference. And
Exactly.
if
Well, and oh, sorry.
oh no, no, no. And I was like, if they don't want to make a difference, you can tell pretty quickly and then change your professor.
No,
So
that's so true. I mean, that's very true. And the other thing is they love what they do. I mean, they wouldn't be in that field if it wasn't something that they genuinely enjoyed. And if you enjoy that as well, and that interest is there, I mean, that's going to be tenfold in terms of being able to connect with them on that level.
exactly. It's so important. I cannot stress it. But some of the ways that you can, so I've kind of talked about why it's important. And here's going to be some steps to kind of take that first step.
Yeah.
If you're really shy, email. Email's wonderful. You don't have to look anyone in the face. If for some reason they reject it, it's just over email. You don't have to deal with that, you know. And I
Right.
know yeah, or message them over Canvas or, you know, Outlook or whatever, email, whatever. I think that's the safest option generally. Some professors give you their phone number. I usually don't use that route because I feel a little bit weird taking up their time. Because I know that if I was a professor and students were texting me all the time, I'd be like, no, thank you. So I normally don't take that route, but some professors prefer it, and that's okay to use as long as they say so. Obviously, get express consent for that. Obviously, since it's COVID, it's kind of hard to do face to face, but that's probably the best method. I generally used email even when we weren't in COVID, but I do think face to face is the best. And I know we're potentially going back in the fall. We're pretty sure we are. So that'd be a great way to start or practice. Like after class, just be like, hi, I'm struggling. And normally people are way more likely to help if they know something's going wrong. Because if you don't turn in 5 assignments, but you don't say anything, they might just think you're lazy, which I don't think is a fair assumption, but that they can't hunt you down.
Yep.
So what else are they going to think? But if you're like, hey, I have been struggling with my mental health lately, I've been struggling with family things, or I can't find motivation, they're way more likely to be like, okay, let's see if we can find a different timeline for you. When do we need to turn things in? And they usually have like a guided plan. It's really nice. It's very helpful as someone who's needed that before. And I think people assume if you get behind that like there's nothing you can do about it. And that's not true. I have like a 3.3 GPA, and the last couple semesters, I have really struggled to get assignments in on time. And I'd like to say I'm a pretty punctual person, but it has just been difficult. And so I'd say those are the best steps to talk to professors. Zoom meetings are also great, especially right now. But I think those are the best methods to at least start that communication.
Definitely. Well, I think too, remembering that your instructors and your professors are people too. And like you said, letting them know some of those things about life and the happenings and what's going on, it does help, and it gives more of that holistic picture of what is going on in your world. And it's up to the individual. I mean, we're not telling you by any means, hey, go share your life story with everyone. But if you're comfortable giving people those details, it does help, like you said, to kind of give that bigger picture of why you might be not doing so hot in these classes.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, those connections get built from there. You might find some common ground of things that interest you, and then you've got people for references and all sorts of other stuff.
Yeah, it's so important. The benefits are so boundless that like the risk is they say no, which is small anyway, but it does need to be acknowledged because it does happen sometimes. And then everything else is just like you could have references, better grades, better connections, networking. Like it's definitely good to take the risk, but I want to recognize and I understand where anxiety comes from. Definitely. Because I have felt that myself. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on. Okay, so if you're forming an email to someone, you want to make sure that it's going to be semi-professional. Fill out the little title box, not title box. Subject. See, yeah. I know so much about writing professional emails. Make sure to fill out the subject box. That's really important. And then go down, make sure you have a greeting, very nice, or be like, hello. And I usually start my emails with, I just wanted to check in. That's not something that everyone has to do, but I find it's a better start than, hello. I was wondering if you could help me with this. I'm just like, I just like to check in. This is where I'm at. This is kind of what I'm needing. Please let me know if there's something we can set up. So that's the formula I kind of use. It's worked really well. Nobody's been like, wow, that was the most unprofessional email I've ever seen. So I think it gets somewhere. I think it gets to the point. And it's not super complex. I want to be professional, but I also don't want to pretend I'm messaging a robot because that's not who they are and is not who that person is. So I kind of do like a little bit of a casual, but also formal, if that kind of makes sense, maybe business casual.
Business casual emails.
Yes. And then with Zoom, you just act like yourself. Yep. Anything that's in person, you don't have to worry about being too formal. Obviously, don't like common sense. Yeah. I'm gonna just let common sense dictate what you probably should or shouldn't say to a professor after class. But that's how I form my emails, and they've been pretty well received. Mind you, I am in the social sciences field, and we're all just like, woo. So we are always like there to help someone else. Yeah. Is the vibe I've gotten from my kind of field. But I think that's mostly, Sam, unless you've got anything else.
I think you've covered everything. I mean, it's important to have these connections to build those up. We get it. It can be stressful to kind of break that ice initially, but the benefits of doing so far outweigh that anxiousness and kind of that fear, I would say. Mm-hmm. So I guess I would challenge our students then to make that connection with their instructors so that they have that person kind of fighting and being a champion for them, as well as being able to provide some of those references and that other stuff should they need that moving forward. So nicely summarized, Taylor.
Yeah, it's just so nice to have built-in people to rely on when you're in college. And that's what they are. You just have to reach out.
Exactly.
I've had so many professors talk to me about like, it's so nice that you like, did this. And I'm so glad you let me know where you're at. And I'm like, I'm trying. I'm a career peer advisor. I'm trying to convey that message. But I would, like Sam said, challenge you to kind of make those steps. I think that it can be life-changing because it genuinely changed the whole path of my college career.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for your time, Taylor. Yeah, this has been a great episode of Coffee and Careers. Typically when we end them, we do a quick cheers to the camera. So thanks again. Cheers. Have a great rest of your day.